Greetings.
Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tanya Love Show. It has been a really beautiful week here in Vancouver, and I was just chatting with Amnon, and not quite as amazing there where he's at, but it's shifting, so hoping we're calling in some sunny weather for you guys on the East Coast. So whoever is watching, wherever you are, I'm wishing you lots of love and hope the weather is peaceful and enjoyable. Here, it's just spring is definitely in the air. I just see all the animals are all Twitter-pated and daffodils coming up, and it's really gorgeous. So I'm very grateful for that. Over this last week, you know how I work, where I just kind of live in the now and wait to see what's the next topic. What are we going to talk about? And last night, I had a dream. And when I woke up this morning, I just had all this consciousness streaming in right when I woke up, whatever that word should be. When I woke up, I basically knew exactly what we were going to be talking about. And it was the angels guiding me to connect again on ascension. Even though we've done a show on this in the past, sometimes we need repetition. Sometimes we need the same message delivered 20 times before it really clicks. And we don't just grasp it intellectually, but we really understand how to embody it. And this weekend, I had an Empowering the Empath mentorship class, and some of the women, you know, they were bringing up some of the stuff that they were struggling with. And one of the girls that was very courageous to be vulnerable with us and share her truth, she was really expressing how frustrated she felt and how she felt like no matter what she was doing, she was getting stuck again. And she was just kind of pissed and like, you know, I'm just done, Tanya. I don't know what to do. And how do I break free of this? And I'm tired of suffering. And I'm tired of this frustration and this struggle. And I felt so much compassion for her. And I felt her energy. And we kind of were tuning into what was going on there. And almost like as a mentor for her, I felt like there was a part of her that felt like she was going to let me down, that she was letting us down, letting people down. And I felt like what she needed to understand was to just be gentle with herself and to really just honor herself and to move in a nice, easy flow with evolution instead of feel like, you know, I'm not getting it right. I'm not doing it perfect. I'm not where they are. And I feel like as a mentor, as someone who I have learned how to master a lot of the things I'm talking about. And I really like kind of identify with the characters like Yoda or Gandalf, like, they're leading others with their light. They're the torchbearers. They're the ones that have really had to master their own journey to get to a place where they can guide others and they can help them. And when we're in that place, if we're the one being mentored, sometimes we can look at that person like we want to be like that now and we're pissed that we're not. And it can really be a distraction because when we start to compare to each other, I feel comparison is one of the quickest paths to suffering. Because if I compare to someone else and I think I'm failing because they get something, I am really going to be hard on myself. And this perfectionism energy will start to flow. And I really feel that as we're moving through all of these ascension symptoms and this ascension journey with evolution, we really will benefit from being gentle with ourselves. So what I was encouraging this girl in particular to look at was, you know, when you're in school, if you're in 6th grade, let's say you're in 6th grade and you're looking at someone who's a senior in high school and they just seem to know a lot and they seem to understand a lot and they're so mature and you really look at them and you admire them and you want to be like them. But if you don't honor where you are, it can really cause a lot of suffering. And then now, instead of you mastering where you are, you start to just feel suffering where you're not. And it's such a distraction from actually living authentically and in alignment. And so what I was encouraging them to realize is that there are those who are going to come on their path to assist them. And it is really a beautiful thing to have others that are at different levels of consciousness that can come in and help us. But if we start to compare to them in a way that seems like we're not getting it and we're not good enough, and there's something wrong with us because we aren't masters yet. Oh, I feel like there's like a hair on my tongue. Sorry. There's like a fuzz on my tongue. When we do that, it is actually very distracting And it can really cause us to go several steps backwards on our path instead of staying in a progression forward. So one of the books, I've referred this book to so many people through my life. I'm trying to remember when this book was even written, if it even says on here. But this book is called The Four Agreements, and I'm going to hold it up. And I discovered this book years ago, and I love Miguel Ruiz. I just feel like he speaks so simply, and there's so much when we're teaching others wisdom and truth. It's often so simple, and it doesn't need to be complicated or complex. But our ego minds really want complexity, and they want things to be hard, and you got to work hard, you got to earn your way. And if that's what you want to do, feel free to go that path. But I truly, from my perspective of life, feel that the simple ways are often the most amazing little nuggets you can grasp, is the simplicity. And in this book, the reason I'm referring to it right now is, even if you haven't and you've read it before, I encourage you to read it again, because sometimes we might have read this amazing book and then we just put it on the shelf and we completely forget the wisdom that was there, and we're not living it, we're not embodying it. So if you are not doing any of these four things and you have any suffering in your life, I encourage you to really listen to them today. Perhaps go get this book again, go look for it on your bookshelf, and start to what is the word I'm looking for? Set an intention every day to live with these agreements. And if you really choose to move forward with awareness and you live with this intention, I promise you the drama will leave your life. I know this because of my own journey. It's not just a theory like, good luck to you guys. I hope if you read that, it might help. I literally have lived my life in this way, to where this took quite a process. And where you see Tanya at today, speaking and having wisdom and seeming to be so at peace and at ease, was quite a journey to get to this place. And so if you don't compare with that, and you just feel honor and reverence for it, and you see myself as a mirror to you, someone mirroring to you this understanding and this embodiment, that is really going to be the swiftest path for you to step in and embody this in your own way. So rather than, if we see someone that's got it figured out and they understand something, and then we're just jealous of them, or we're frustrated by them, or we feel like we're going to let them down, and so we start criticizing ourselves, if we can just look at those who are really shining, look at those who have figured something out and they're mastering it, and feel honor for the fact that they're in our life, feel honor for the fact that they are mirroring to us the guidance, and make use of it. Rather than waste your energy being jealous or petty or competitive, it is such a distraction. And your ego wants that. Your ego wants you to suffer. It wants you to compete. It wants you to compare. It wants you to think you're better than. It wants you to feel less than. It loves suffering. So one of the first things, like I mentioned many times in our shows, is that we have to get to this place where we can laugh at our ego. We can hear it for what it is, this nasty little vicious voice inside that is always hungry and is always wanting us to suffer. And we stop feeding that energy. We stop buying into it. We stop giving it energy. We stop catering to it. And we start to tune in and really honor the intuition. We start to honor ourselves. We start to look at, rather than me worry about where everyone else is, how am I doing today? I feel like I'm doing really well. Even though I'm not mastering that yet, I am on the path to understanding. Every day I'm getting better. Every day I'm a better painter. Every day I'm a better listener. Every day I am becoming more compassionate, more understanding. This is going to help you have leaps and bounds forward in your evolution, compared to sitting there saying, oh, why are they doing it and I'm not doing it? How come they have money and I don't have money? How come she's got it figured out and I don't? Oh, I don't like her. I don't even want to be around her. She's too perfect, and so I don't even like that. I'm just going to go and be messed up and complain and be mad at the people who are figuring it out. All these things we choose are very much either a choice into stepping into our alignment, and it's going to help us grow and evolve and love ourselves,
Yes.
or the dialogue in our mind is causing us to feel enslaved. It's causing us to feel helpless. It's causing us to feel hopeless. Victim consciousness. So in the book, there's these 4 agreements, and they're pretty damn awesome. And they are not as easy to master as they may sound. But I tell you, if you focus every day with awareness on making sure that you are following these, maybe print them out and put them on your bathroom mirror, write them in your journal. But as you practice living in the alignment with these agreements, it will profoundly shift your living experience. It will profoundly shift your movie. And what once caused you so much drama and suffering will not have any weight. It will not have any power in your life anymore. So the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. I cannot tell you how many people I observe that struggle because they do not have integrity. I have had clients that do this. I have family members who do this. I see people at the grocery store do this. Unfortunately, on our planet, humans really like to lie. And they do it because many of them, most of them, are not truly living in their power. They're not being authentic. So when something comes up, they say yes to a lot of things, and they really should learn to say no, or they should learn to answer in a way of, let me see how that flows, and I would love to come, and if I can, I will. But what humans need to work on is really owning their power and knowing that they have a right to choose what they want to choose. And when they say something and they give a commitment to something, then follow through with it. Because what I've observed is the humans that say stuff like, oh, I'm going to help you with this, or, oh, I'll be there for you, or I'll give you this, I'll pay you money for that. The ones that promise these things and then they don't deliver them, it causes them damage. It causes disruption and distraction and chaos with all the people in their life that are actually counting on them. And so what will happen is eventually a person that continues to say they're going to do something and they don't follow through, they start to create a reputation where no one believes in them. No one counts on them. No one, it's like people just kind of expect, oh, Sally said it. Yeah, that shit ain't going to happen. And it's because they're not showing, can't talk. They're not being impeccable. They are not having integrity. So I feel personally integrity is huge. Integrity is so important not only to the others that you're sharing your movie with, but it is so important to yourself. It is important for you to trust in yourself, for you to have confidence, and for you to just feel self-love. So if you practice being impeccable with your word, you're going to have to slow down and really feel things out before you answer from now on. And when you say you're going to something or you're going to do something, do it. I see people that constantly play the victim, like, oh, I really wanted to do that, but this thing came up and, I couldn't end up coming even though I committed to coming. Or, oh, I really wanted to help that person out, but then, something distracted me and, or my husband wouldn't let me or whatever. And they start to blame and project their issue on other people, which does not empower them. It keeps them enslaved as victims. And I feel that all of us on this planet, at our deepest level, we desire to come back into our power. We desire to feel capable and to feel that we have the power to fulfill whatever soul mission we're here to fulfill. So if you're practicing a habit of lying and not having integrity and withholding the truth or twisting the truth or bending it or straight up saying you're going to do stuff and then you never show up, what you're doing is you're teaching people to not count on you. You're teaching people to realize you're a liar and that you have no integrity, and you're teaching yourself that. And that is not a good thing to teach yourself. And it is a great way to become a victim and to be enslaved and to suffer, not a great way to feel powerful. So the first one is to be impeccable with your word. Maybe jot that one down if you got a notebook. The second is to not take anything personally. This one can be very tricky for people in the beginning because so much we have been taught to, react to people. I had a woman, a really beautiful soul that just came and she drove really far. She drove hundreds of miles this weekend to come up and have an auric clearing with me. And she came to one of my Empowering the Empath workshop.